The Mona Lisa, the single most famous piece of artwork ever produced. Many people go to the Louvre to walk past many brilliant pieces of art just to see this one painting, displayed by itself, in its own room, in its own exhibit, very far away from people, behind bulletproof glass. Wow. But my question is, why is this painting so highly regarded, and how come everyone knows it's the most famous painting and just accepts that's the case? Well, if you look into it, there's actually a pretty incredible story behind this painting, and that is what we're going to be talking about today. Hello! Welcome to Brain Spill, the laziest show on the internet. My name is Tank, and when you're finished crowding around that painting, come over here, sit down in Brain Spill Corner, grab yourself a cup of tea, and let Tank tell you a story about that painting. So, the Mona Lisa, painted by Leonardo da Vinci in or around the year 1503 in a small studio in Florence, Italy. It is believed that the painting may have had some further touch-ups done to it up until 1517, but it was around this time when Mona Lisa was first painted. And no, not the Ninja Turtle Leonardo, we are talking about one of the most famous painters ever known. But I think at the time, he wouldn't know or didn't quite realise the impact that this piece of artwork would have on the world. This painting was, of course, just one piece of work that he did during his lifetime, and over the next 300 years, this painting would change hands on a number of occasions. I mean, look, don't get me wrong, the Mona Lisa, it's a nice painting, it looks pretty cool. However, comparing this to some of the other Renaissance paintwork at the time, it does make you wonder why this painting in particular is so important, because arguably some of these other pieces were probably much more detailed and took much longer to do. So it does get you wondering why the Mona Lisa stands on top of the rest. But no, we remember the Mona Lisa. So something happened with this painting between 1517 to now to give it the legendary status it holds today. Leonardo took the painting with him when he was invited to France by Francis I in 1516. The king bought it, and at the French Revolution it was placed in the Louvre. This then changed hands again when Napoleon of all people would acquire the painting and would hang it in his bedroom. These parts alone would demonstrate that this is a sought after painting, having been in the possession of a few famous faces in history. This of course would give the painting some recognition in the art community. But then something would happen in history about a war and Napoleon being exiled or something, who knows. But basically, after all that happened, the painting was eventually returned to the Louvre. And it would be there in France on display for many, many years to come. This is all cool, but we need that hot, spicy take. What happened to truly propel this painting into the starlight? Something must have happened to make this so well renowned. Well, for that, we need to fast forward to the year 1911. The Louvre closed up for the night after a long day of having strangers wander around looking at art, being none the wiser to the fact that 3 men had managed to hide in a closet before closure. Then they just waited until the morning. Why did 3 men decide to lock themselves in a wardrobe overnight in this museum? Well, they wanted an up-close and personal experience with the Mona Lisa. They wanted to see it firsthand. So close, in fact, that they wanted the painting to go. They nicked it. So, that morning, the thieves stole the painting from the gallery. The painting was recognised in the art community at this point as a master craftsmanship of the Renaissance period. But the wider general public weren't really aware of the significance of this painting. That was until that very morning, when it was discovered that the painting was gone. The alarm bells were rung, and the headlines brought the story to the forefront. This was big news. The police, unsure as to who was responsible for this, started pointing fingers to people in the art community, including Pablo Picasso, which he had absolutely nothing to do with it, but unfortunately got wrapped up in the whole shenanigans. Now, after this, you might have thought that this was a master play in thievery. However, with the fact that this painting was now so well known and it was on all the headlines, the thieves were in a bit of a sticky situation because you couldn't just sell this thing, everyone was looking for it. Large rewards were being offered for the safe return of the painting at the time, and it was apparently stored in a false bottom of a trunk in the Paris home of the ringleader, kept away from prying eyes. And 28 months later, he decided that this was the time, that he would go and try and sell the painting. The thief had managed to track down a potential buyer for a dealer in Florence, to which, when the man turned up, the dealer basically dobbed him in. The police arrived to arrest Vincenzo Peruggia, the man who had stolen the Mona Lisa only 2 years prior. Of course, when you're caught with your pants down, the only thing you can do is plead your own innocence, and he decided to try and claim that he was doing the right thing, that he'd managed to obtain the painting, and that due to the fact that Napoleon had stolen it from Italy, that he was trying to return it to its place of origin, where it was first painted in Florence, Italy. Ha! Yeah, a likely story. A likely cover-up story. So yeah, they hauled him to court and he was sentenced to 8 months in prison, and the priceless painting which had garnered such international attention was returned to the Louvre. Many Italians welcomed the masterpiece home. People flocked to see it for a time, and since then the security was of course beefed up as a result. So yeah, from that point onwards, this painting was considered a masterpiece, and not just in the art community, from people everywhere in the world. They knew this painting, and it all came down to this incredible story of the painting being nicked and returned under these very strange circumstances. It is this very wild origin story that would make this the most visited painting ever. And it is also because of this that this is now one of the world's most valuable paintings in the world, not only holding a Guinness World Record to that effect, but it has reportedly had a valuation of $100 million in 1962, which the equivalent now would be $660 million. That's a lot of money. A lot of money for just a single painting, but hey, if it's that well known, then of course the value is just going to go up and up and up. So yeah, there is a whole host of factors as to what's contributed to the legacy behind this painting, and why the Mona Lisa is so well recognised. But I think chief amongst that is just the crazy story of that time the painting was stolen and recovered 2 years later. If you liked the video, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to be notified as soon as I upload my next video, be sure to hit the bell button. And if you've got any ideas for what topics you'd like me to discuss next, let me know down in the comments below. As always, sources used in the video will be in the description. So next time you go visit the Louvre and potentially see the Mona Lisa, maybe have a little bit of a look around and truly realise how well the security is. I think if anybody even attempted to try steal this thing, they probably wouldn't get away with it. That's not a challenge, I'm just saying that they've probably learnt their lesson from the last time someone decided to hide in a closet overnight and then steal this painting. So, well, I'll leave that to you. I'll see you guys in the next video. Fantastic.